I decided to turn this piece of cherry today while the glue dries on a project with hundreds of segments. It is 15 by 13 by 5 and should have been very simple, but it really bugged me and it was not so simple. Watch and see what was bugging me and let me know what you think it was. I'll go cut the corners off now and we can get going. Alright, I got it mounted in the lathe and I went ahead and popped that bark off because it was pretty loose. You can see somebody was living under here. There's lots of bug activity and it was really dusty, so getting the bark off will help keep that down. So I'm going to start with a 5/8 bowl gouge and we're doing about 500 RPM. Just going to try to get that outside rounded. I think we're going to get there. Oh, that is pretty. Get the rest of this cleaned up and then we'll flatten the top. Alright, I like to get the height of that established so I can make sure I have the shape I want. Okay, I'm actually kind of liking this shape, so I think I'll just try to get it cleaned up. We'll get this flattened out here and get a tenon on it. Switch into a 1/2 inch bowl gouge and we're turning about 600 RPM. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and work on this bottom.
I'll cut this tenon away. I want to see where that wormhole goes because it comes out here. I don't want to find a big hole on the bottom of the inside of the bowl.
This was starting to bug me.
Well, actually it just comes out right there. Okay. I think I'll go ahead and use a recess here. Okay, I marked this. Use the parting tool to get it started. And there's that wormhole. So let me have a good look at that. I thought about this a while and I don't like those holes in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, see if I can get past them. I don't know. There's life in that bowl. It's hard. It's old and hard. And I don't like it. It's another cut here. Hey, they're almost gone. Okay. Now that's way too wide. This bowl is really bugging me. I'll do a little reshaping again. Well, those bugs really bugged me, and I've got a whole different look on this now. When I stopped on this last night, I was kind of discouraged with the piece, and I said that it was really bugging me. It's because I found a number of wormholes, and there was a live worm in the one at the beginning, and I found a couple more dried, and I decided to heck with it. I'm going to turn this until I don't see any more holes, and hopefully when I do the inside, there's no holes in there. So that's kind of why I stopped. So what I'm going to do is get a tenon on here, probably make the base maybe about like that, and we'll go ahead and get that on there, get this sanded up and get a finish on it. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch bowl gouge and we'll start cutting this out. 730 RPM. I think this tool is similar to Phil's diamond point tool. It's a part of a Craftsman set that I bought over 50 years ago, and it still works good. Okay, I think that's going to work. I'm going to get this sanded up and get a finish on it. Ready for some finish, and I'm going to put a coat of shellac-based sanding sealer on here and then just let it set all night because it is getting late. Well, those worms did a good job of making this wood pretty, but they can't live in here anymore. Yeah. I may put another coat on in the morning, but maybe not. Got a different finish planned on this one. It's all flipped around. I took the faceplate off, and now it's just time to get it hollowed out. It should be a simple little process, and I don't think there's going to be any more worm trails in there, but we'll find out when we get close to the bottom. Got a 5/8 bowl gouge. We're going to start out about 725 RPM. Switch back to the half and try to get this wall a little thinner, and I'll get the tailstock out of the way here soon. Pretty close. Okay, I'm going to sharpen back up on the 5/8. Alright, let's see how much sharper this is. Quite a bit. Okay, I'm going to move these into my bag so I don't throw them on the floor and then have to pick them up again. I moved the tailstock out of the way. I'm going to take this area that's down to size and clean it up with the negative rake scraper, and we'll keep going down to the bottom. that's going to be it. The little spot where I have that turn cut down to is now leave me about a 1/4 inch underneath there. So that's good. I have some blending to do here, and we just about have it. Okay, that will do it. All right, it's time to do some sanding. I'll start with 80 grit using a 2-inch disc, and I'll work my way through 400. And I'll go ahead and get some sanding sealer on it, but that's going to be it for the day. So I'll be sanding forward at about 400 RPM, the dust collector on, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next step. I put the sanding sealer on it last night. I ended up putting 2 coats because it really soaked it in. And I just went over it with this white Scotch Brite, and basically this is all that I do with that. It's very smooth. I'll use the Acks abrasive paste on it now. And that's going to be my complete finish on this one. This is something I was trying to do quickly in between gluing up a segment turning that has a lot of segments in it. And I thought this was going to be quick and easy, but a couple hiccups here that took longer than I expected, but we have it done now, just about. Let's start around 400 RPM. Just rub this in. I've already done the back side. I figured this would be a lot easier to see. It's the exact same process. I'll turn it up a little bit more. And I've mentioned before, I do have a video showing more detail on how I use abrasive paste and polish. And I'll add a link for that in the description. Alright, that looks pretty good. The important thing is that you get all of the grit off before you use the polish restoring paste. And that is looking pretty nice. The polish restoring paste is pretty much the same method. It doesn't take very much of this. Go ahead and get that tenon off. Okay, let's see if we can get that tenon off. Yeah, that's not too bad. 550 RPM to start with. So I've got everything below, and I need to sand that center anyway, so I'll just sand the rest of that little nub off. So I'll be right back when I finish on this, and we'll be all through. Well, here it is. And for as much as this bowl bugged me, it turned out pretty nice. And what bugged me was the bugs that I found on the bottom when I was shaping it. and there was numerous wormholes in there and some critters down there that had been living in there. But I got rid of them, and we ended up with a slightly shallower bowl. It's about 2.5 inches tall. It's 11 inches in diameter, and the walls are about 1/4 of an inch. I used 2 coats of the Bullseye shellac-based sanding sealer, and then Acks abrasive paste and polish. It's very, very smooth and a nice finish. So I decided I needed to do this because I was gluing up a segmented turning, and there was no way I was going to get all that done in time for a video for this week. So I set it aside and I made this, and guess what? Sitting right over there on my other bench is a segmented turning ready to be finished. So you'll be seeing that next week. And I hope you enjoyed this video.
If you did like the video, do me a favor and click that like button. And while you're there, it would be great if you could share the video around. Those 2 things will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment. I read them all, and I do my best to answer them all. Thanks to all my subscribers. And if you're not, please consider doing so. I do a mix of all types of turnings. Some are simple and some are complex, so let me know your favorite. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.